When the Cowboys took a quarterback in 2016 on day 3 of the draft, I don't think any of us really batted an eye. I mean, yes, we knew that the Cowboys needed some kind of backup quarterback because Tony Romo was getting up there in age, he was starting to battle injuries, missing full seasons, so the Cowboys decided to draft Dak Prescott out of Mississippi State, a big, athletic, but underdeveloped passer. His feet needed work, his arm mechanics needed work. He was just a developmental quarterback. No one thought that that 4th round pick would go on to win 13 games as a rookie, win Rookie of the Year, and rack up $248 million in contracts with the Cowboys over the past 10 years. Now, the chances of that happening are very slim, like extremely slim. The idea that Dallas found a franchise quarterback in Tony Romo, an undrafted free agent, they found a franchise quarterback in a 4th round pick in Dak Prescott, you just don't typically find franchise quarterbacks like that. Because of how important the position is, you as a team should probably take a shot on one every chance you get. And it looks like that's what the Cowboys are going to do in this year's draft. Stephen Jones said that they want to take a developmental quarterback to sit behind Dak and learn. And then he went on to blame it on Dak's contract and said that they can't afford Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. Whatever. Who should the Cowboys draft and where should they draft them? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video, so let's get into it. I like using the consensus big boards to look at these prospects to really see how the media values these guys. Of course, the media is not always right. With this big board, it takes 112 media outlets, compiles all of their big boards together, and then it just averages out the players. So today we're going to talk about 5 quarterbacks that Dallas should definitely draft and if they're going to be worth the draft capital. So let's start with an honorable mention, and that's Dillon Gabriel, the quarterback from Oregon. I'm not really sure that he fits the physical profile that the Cowboys like in their quarterbacks, but Dillon Gabriel knows how to play on time, play in rhythm, throw to certain spots. I thought that he was the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl, at least the first 2 days of practice that I was there. But like I said, he doesn't really fit the physical profile that the Cowboys like, although I do like Dillon Gabriel, and I would certainly take him in that 4 to 6 round range. With that name out of the way, let's get on to the 5 names that I think Dallas will consider or they should consider. Let's start with Kyle McCord. On the big board, he is 136th overall. So kind of guessing if you add in the quarterback tax, he'll go somewhere between the 4th and 6th round. Kyle McCord is from Syracuse, a guy that really found his footing at Syracuse last year. He has good touch on the ball, good rhythm, he has really good footwork in the pocket. He can layer the ball over the linebackers and under the safeties, and he might not have the biggest arm in this class, but he's got a really good feel on when he needs to rip it into a window, when he needs to put a little bit of touch on it to get it over the linebackers. And touch and feel as a quarterback is something that's extremely hard to coach. It's kind of why I worry so much about Jalen Milroe. Obviously, Milroe is a much better athlete, but Milroe will sometimes sling it 100 miles an hour. We saw it with Josh Allen early in his career, but the ability as a quarterback to not throw it 100 miles an hour on every single throw, no matter what's happening, what the window looks like, it almost feels like it's something that just comes naturally for Kyle McCord. And watching him play the 2 games I watched of his film, I was actually thoroughly impressed. Certainly an option that I would consider in that 5th and 6th round range. Our next quarterback on the list is Curtis Rourke. Curtis Rourke. Big board, 130th overall. Once again, like Kyle McCord, in that 4th to 6th round range. And Rourke, early on in this process, is probably my favorite late round quarterback sleeper in this draft. He had an absolutely phenomenal year at Indiana last year, and he played an offense that was really quarterback friendly and very innovative. They knew how to get guys open, a lot of different route combinations, throwing on time and in rhythm. Rourke had 29 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and he was 26th in the country in big-time throw rate, 33rd in average depth of target, and 49th in turnover-worthy play percentage at just 2.6% of his throws being deemed turnover worthy. All in all, he had a great year, and he's another guy that had transferred, played at Ohio, transferred to Indiana, had a year that really put him on the NFL draft map. Now, as much as I like Rourke, and I haven't completely done a full write-up of him and what I saw on film, it does concern me a little bit that his pressure to sack rate is so insanely high. It makes me concerned about his pocket presence, his awareness, when to step up in the pocket, when to roll out. He's just not nearly as mobile as he should be as an athlete. If the line can't hold up, it kind of seems like he's just dead in the water. You should not be taking a sack 1 out of every 4 pressures. That is just killing the offense. And maybe that's just something that you can develop at the next level, because at the end of the day, this is a later round pick. But I do like Rourke's ability to get the ball out on time, get it out quick, and more so his processing before the snap. Like I said, the Indiana offense was pretty innovative. He was throwing to college open wide receivers at times, but there were other times where he was showing you that feel and the processing and being able to layer his throws over the middle of the field. And he was just super efficient all year long, and I wouldn't have a single problem taking him in the 5th or 6th round if he's still available. Really quick, guys, before we continue, I have to tell you about today's sponsor, BetUS. I know that the NFL season is over, but that doesn't mean the action stops. Whether it's the NBA, college hoops, UFC, or even NFL futures for the 2025 season, BetUS has you covered. They have been America's favorite sportsbook for over 30 years, and right now they're giving you a massive bonus when you sign up. 150% deposit match on your first and 125% match on your next 2. That will allow you to bet on playoff basketball, fight nights that are coming up, March Madness, or even early Super Bowl odds for next season. I mean, there's always something to cash in on. You think the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East next year, which is totally a possibility? You can lock that in now. So head over to BetUS, claim your 150% and your 125% deposit bonus, and get started today. I wanted to say thank you to BetUS for not only helping me, but allowing people to not just sit and wait for next season, but to stay in the game. BetUS, where the game begins. Let's continue down the big board just a little bit to Tyler Shough, who comes in at number 103. Now, this is probably the biggest question mark about where a quarterback's going to go in this entire draft, because if this guy was 22 years old, he'd be a top 30, top 40 pick, no problem. Maybe even up there with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. But the issue is, Shough is 25 years old right now, and he's going to be 26 years old as a rookie. With the COVID years and all of the transfer stuff, years of eligibility, whatever, he played like 7 years of college football, and in his final year at Louisville, he just kind of figured it out. The 2 games that I saw were actually insane. I saw him at the Senior Bowl, didn't think he was all that great of a prospect. I go and watch those 2 games, and I'm impressed. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, he holds up well in the pocket. He actually progresses through his reads. He can progress through his reads and then make a really nice layered throw over the middle of the field. Look the safety off, throw it over the top. There's actually some really high-level throws on his film, and it kind of makes you wonder, what took so long? Why wasn't he playing like this before transferring to Louisville? Why wasn't he getting opportunities at the next level? If it took this long in college, how long could it take for him to really grasp the NFL? Those are really questions that NFL scouts are going to have to talk to his college coaches. Why wasn't this guy seeing the field? All in all, Shough is just a giant question mark. But what he did put on film this year, the size, the arm strength, the ability to push the ball down the field, reading defenses, making throws over the middle, showing really good accuracy and ball placement, I wouldn't be surprised at all if a team says he's mature, he finally got his chance, he played well, and taking him in the first 3 rounds. But I could also see other teams going, we need a younger guy. We need somebody that broke out, took the job early, and has room to develop. Maybe you don't feel like a 26-year-old has as much room. They say old dogs can't learn new tricks, and coming into the league at 26 years old is crazy. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see how that shakes out, how the NFL values him. I think we'll get a better idea of that when some of these media members start talking to NFL executives, NFL scouts, and we'll have a better idea of where Tyler Shough really fits into this quarterback class. Going down the board a little bit more, we're going to go to number 86 overall, and that is Ohio State quarterback Will Howard, who I think is going to fall in that 2nd to 4th round range. And we're starting to get into that a little bit rich category for me, but still a guy that could potentially fall. You just never know with these quarterbacks. It's not impossible. You would never have any idea of how the league's going to value and evaluate these quarterbacks. So there's always a chance that Will Howard is sitting there in the 5th round. Obviously, he's a guy that won a national championship, had 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions in 2024. He really took a major step forward from what we saw from him in 2023 at Kansas State. And he's, much like other quarterbacks in this class, a little bit more experienced, a little bit older prospect. Howard will be 24 years old as a rookie. Not quite as old as Tyler Shough, but the age that Jaden Daniels was drafted at. But when I look at Will Howard, and I think if I can get this guy in the 5th round, I would 1,000% do it because of his bigger body, running ability, the stuff that he offers with his legs. He can facilitate some things on the ground until his leaps as a passer kind of catch up, making him a developmental quarterback that you can take in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I'm a little bit conflicted on him because if he's going to be a top 100 pick, I have questions because the Ohio State offense, the layup throws that he had at times, the wide receivers he was throwing to, generational with Jeremiah Smith, the insanely clean pocket. It was just almost too perfect to fail, and we know the NFL's not going to be like that, especially the Cowboys with an offensive line that wasn't great in 2024. Will Howard just had to drive the bus, and he did that extremely well. That offense just made life easier. So yeah, you wonder, what does it look like when it's not perfect? Don't get me wrong, I like Will Howard. He made some big time throws. Obviously played well in the college football playoffs. He's got an arm. He's got good touch at times. He can throw the seam routes. He can do all of that stuff. But I'm just not really wanting Dallas to spend a top 100 pick on a quarterback, especially if that is Will Howard. And I have a feeling that's kind of what he's going to cost. That's going to be the range because you add in the quarterback tax and how inflated their value really is. That might be what it takes. And this Dallas team has way too many holes. You have Dak under contract for the next few years. You need that top 100 pick to build around your quarterback now and not take his backup. So we come to our final quarterback on this list, and that is Quinn Ewers, who is on the consensus board as the 84th overall prospect. And with Ewers, I kind of expect him to fall in that 2nd to 4th round range. And kind of like I talked about with Tyler Shough, the physical tools are there, and that alone makes him an intriguing prospect. But the mechanics with Ewers are all over the place. I haven't watched this film yet. I have just watched what I saw during the college football playoffs, watching Texas games on the TV broadcast. It's crazy. Ewers has a cannon. He has the arm talent. Just that the mechanics are super wonky at times. Sometimes for stretches of a game, it'll be like 2 or 3 quarters where he just cannot put it together. The consistency just isn't there. And when it's bad, it gets bad. You Texas fans know. But when it's good and he's dropping it in the bucket 45 yards downfield, it's beautiful. There were just times with that Texas offense that if things weren't perfect, he just couldn't overcome it. And just like most of the guys on this list, my question is, can I get him in the 5th round? Because if you can take Quinn Ewers in the 5th round, I am jumping up and down with excitement. Sign me up. I'm just not interested if this is a day 2 pick. I'm out on the idea of Quinn Ewers being your 2nd or 3rd round pick. Sure, I like the idea of him sitting behind Dak for a year or two, being a developmental piece, but if that requires a 2nd or 3rd rounder, I'm not really interested. So that's really all I got for you guys today. I wanted to talk about the quarterback. Stephen Jones mentioned it in his interview. You guys let me know down below if you could have any of these 5. You can even include Dillon Gabriel. Any of these 6 quarterbacks, head down to the comments. Which one are you taking? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.